We should be going live in a bit. Okay, I think we are live. Let me just quickly refresh and check that we're live right now. We've already got like 7 people waiting.
Woohoo!
Which is good. It sounds like people have been very excited for this session. Yeah, I think we're live now. Amazing. Wow, we're here. Can we just, before we start the stream, can we just quickly say, Alejandra, like you've done so much already today, and I'm just very thankful that you came on to this stream with me to talk about Async API and open source and Gitpod, and I'm just super thankful that you're here because I know you've had a busy morning.
Thanks. Yeah, it was kind of fun how I accidentally had 2 talks at the same day. That doesn't happen very often, like, ever.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. Well, whenever I have that happen, I'm always like, I'm gonna try and shift something because I always like end up like overrunning with things. But so yeah, I just want to say very thankful for your time. So yeah, let's start. I think we'll start with a little bit of an intro on both of us. So I'll kick us off. So hi everyone, it's so nice to see so many of you trickling in and watching from YouTube or LinkedIn or even Twitter. So hi everyone. So thanks for joining the stream. I'm Pauline, for those who don't know. I'm a community engineer here at Gitpod, and my role is focused on building and supporting our wonderful community to be as successful as they can be with using Gitpod. And I started a few months ago, and it's been such a fun ride. And community has always been like at the heart of a lot of my previous roles, even though it wasn't part of my job. So now that I get to do this full time, it's really, really cool. And I'm really excited just to like work more in the community, especially the open source software community, where this really is front and center. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you so much for having me again, Pauline. I'm really excited to be here with you.
Yeah, honestly, you are like my dream guest, so I'm glad you're here.
You're too nice. Should I introduce myself too?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, cool. Well, hello everyone. Thank you for having me. So I'm Alejandra Quetzali, and basically I work right now for an open source initiative called AsyncAPI, and it's funny because I technically got hired by Postman, but I don't actually work for any Postman product related items. I work only on the docs for AsyncAPI. And so I really like that because I don't know, Pauline will probably agree with me that working for things related to open source are just, I don't know, they just feel it's like a different energy, right? Like it feels a lot
Absolutely.
more I don't know, like my heart feels happier somehow because it's more community focused, and that just feels more heartwarming to me, and it's more exciting to me. I love that. So it's really exciting. And actually, earlier this year, this open source initiative ended up being moved under the Linux Foundation. So we're really excited about that because now that it's under the Linux Foundation, it definitely makes it easier for keeping the neutrality of the initiative, right? And retaining that transparency and open governance, that model that is important for open source projects. And so I feel like I'm rambling a lot, but I don't know if I've even told you yet what AsyncAPI is. So I should probably say that.
Let's start there.
We'll do that next. Pauline is like way more organized than I am, clearly. So AsyncAPI is basically an initiative that seeks to make working with event-driven architectures, EDAs, as easy as it is to work with REST APIs. So there are all kinds of different protocols that you could use for event-driven architecture. And it's a message and publishing subscribing system that if any of you has worked with something that is message event driven, you're probably thinking, wait, this sounds very message driven. What's the difference between message and event driven? And that's a hard question to answer. We get that answer a lot, but I think there's some similarities. But overall, we want to focus on event and not so much on messaging on the message side. I see Mike is joining. Hello, Mike.
Yes, hi Mike. Wanted to show his comment and his support.
Yes, we're so happy to have him here. Should I pretend to be nice, you think, because we're live? Or okay, fine. We love Mike. He's really cool.
He's great. He's amazing.
He didn't pay us to say any of that live. Yeah. So I guess you're probably wondering if I got hired to be like the troll on my team, and I would say that that's only half of what I do. I really think that I do actually spend the other half honestly working. And in theory, my job is to own the documentation and the learning educational materials for AsyncAPI. We already have some docs, and that's really exciting. This initiative is really only like 2 years old. It's still, very young. And we're right at the age where there's some growing pains. We're identifying more stuff that needs to be improved, more content that needs to be added. And we're in the middle of really asking more and more the community to jump in and ask if they would like to contribute with our documentation too. So that's why I've also been talking to Pauline and folks from her team, because I was testing out using Gitpod code spaces for my contributions to this open source initiative. And I've used it and I was like, oh, this is a really cool thing. And I was thinking, ooh, what if we talked about how Gitpod can make contributing to open source easier? So anyway, sorry if that was a long ramble, but
that's perfect. I think you've explained the whole point of this live stream for us, and I think it was all sort of you sort of drove this like a theme, which is really good. And I think like Gitpod works super well with improving the whole open source contributions process, and that's what we'll try and focus on in this stream specifically. But for those who are tuning in and don't actually know what Gitpod is, I completely forgot to even mention what Gitpod is. So let me quickly just do my usual thing. So yeah, Gitpod, for those who don't know, it's a open source developer platform that automates developer environments. And so what that means is, I think front and center, we sort of focus on the IDE. I know a lot of people, when they talk about Gitpod and even GitHub code spaces, they focus on the IDE, but it is a lot more than that. There's so many cool like automation features that help really reduce that friction of manually setting up your local dev environment. And so the whole point of it is to save hours and enables like a new level of collaboration to make sure that when you're like coding, you're always ready to code. You don't have to worry about dependencies. You don't have to worry about things, other tools that you need to install, because you've already sort of described it and you've set up that perfect dev environment once. And so every like from that point on, everything should be easier and quicker because everything is automated. And we can go a bit more into detail with in terms of the like implementation of that. We'll go through a demo later in this stream. But yeah, so that's essentially what Gitpod is. And yeah, I'm just really excited to see more like open source projects and just more teams and individual developers jump on Gitpod. I feel like over the last few weeks, especially, everyone has been talking about it on Twitter, and it's been lovely to see everyone, like, our community grow. So yeah, I hope that explained what Gitpod is. I'm just seeing all these comments. Oh, that's super clear. Perfect to explain. Awesome. And someone said, Gitpod is a superpower available to anyone. That's it. Do you want to do my job? That's exactly how it should be described. Yeah, absolutely. So
I think that something that I get really excited about, like when I'm trying to think about the power that Gitpod could bring to open source communities and the freedom that it could bring, and the empowerment is really the word. I think empowerment is that, when you are giving a technical workshop on how to contribute to a specific thing outside of the US, or you're going to give a workshop in a third world country or in another language, that setting up people to get ready to work in a workshop is a lot of work. And always the main problem is how are we going to set up their development environment, and what IDE should we ask them all to use? And the like the idea that these two top issues that we always run into everywhere when we're doing an open source workshop or bringing people in is like, and how do we not block the barrier to entry from people that are newer to also coding, who might need more help getting their development environment set up, right? And so then are they going to get blocked from contributing and being like a part of the team just because they need extra help? Like, that sucks, just because we don't have a good tool to empower them. And so to me, it's like, damn, what if more people just started using things like Gitpod code spaces? Like, that's just like, I think that's just exciting, because I think it could really change it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think like I love how you touched on new people as well, onboarding, because my partner, for example, right now, he's just started a new job, and it's been sort of a struggle seeing him go try to get set up. And there's a whole lot of friction that, I've said this to him already. I've been like, oh, if you just had Gitpod, this wouldn't happen, because it would all just work. And it's like, yeah, you're living in the future. Like for instance, just another example. Today, I was just hacking something together for our Discord, a new Discord bot, and I realized that when I was spinning up this VM, I was thinking, because I've been working with Gitpod for the last few months now, I don't have a local dev environment. I got so confused on all the dependencies that I needed. I was like, wait, why doesn't it already have Node? Why does this VM that's just an empty VM doesn't have the right Node version I need? Why is my code that works on Gitpod, why doesn't it work here? And it was like this whole blocker. And I was like, because I've been thinking so much in sort of that Gitpod like ecosystem that I just didn't understand when I had to move away from it for a bit, like why there was so much struggle from my end. So yeah, that was a fun discovery today. I was like, okay, I'm really relying on Gitpod recently. I can really tell. but no, thank you so much for all of that information. So I think like our goal today is I'll try and give a demo. Hopefully the demo gods are with us today, and I'll try and Gitpodify one of the AsyncAPI repos that we talked about. Maybe you could give a bit of context on that. Yeah, I think just before we jump into that, it might be good to give more of a visual example of like how Gitpod can help take care of dev environments and like PRs and other workflows. So the thing I'd like to share, actually, if I can share my screen, I hope I can.
Oh my goodness, we're getting a Pauline demo.
Woo! Thank you for the hype. I need it. I had a disclaimer. I had a lot of coffee before this session.
Okay, so
it's like almost 7 p.m. here, and I'm like hyped. Okay, so I just wanted to like bring to light this amazing like blog post by Mike, and he wrote this in June, but I always refer back to it when I try and explain to people the power of Gitpod, and how different how you can really transform your workflows. So he's created these two characters, Alice and Bob. So Alice works in a more like, it works on Gitpod, and then Bob still works in his local machine. But just to quickly demonstrate the power of Gitpod and why it's really powerful in terms of open source contributions is, so for example, when you set up a new project, Bob needs to do all of these things. He needs to clone source code, ensure correct runtimes, and follow onboarding instructions on like a readme .md file. Whereas Alice just needs to, configure a .gitpod.yaml file, and everything is automated. Everything's just ready to go. And again, you can see right here, Bob has a lot of steps. Alice only has one, and it's quick and easy. And then when it comes to developing a new feature, Bob has to pull the latest default branch, needs to create a feature branch, needs to make sure correct runtimes, correct dependencies. Whereas Alice only needs to open a new browser tab and, you know, prefix it with gitpod.io/hash and then the issue URL, and then it creates the correct like feature branch, and it has all the runtimes and dependencies already set up for her because she did that when she first set up the project. And then when it comes to switching context, you can see Bob has to do a lot of things: git stash, git pull, change branch, and, you know, ensuring everything is correct, and then still needs to review the code, then needs to go back to the previous branch, get all the stashed files, and then again make sure everything's running. So but whereas Alice, because of the concept of ephemeral dev environments, she just needs to open a new tab and then you know, of the issue or of the PR, which we'll demonstrate today. And then she just needs to review the code, and she's like, cool, looks good to me. She just needs to like close the browser tab, and then she can continue in her own like workspace, in her own Gitpod workspace, and continue with her own work without disrupting anyone else's work. And again, you can see again, if you set up a new computer, it's loads of difficult things that you need to do, whereas Alice doesn't really need to do anything. She just you know, installs a web browser, you know, or whatever, and it's already all set up for her. So again, all of these examples, I think this is a fantastic blog post to really demonstrate the power of it, and I think it really showcases the power of Gitpod and open source contributions, and hopefully we'll showcase that today in our stream. But yeah, how does that sound?
I love it, and I really, really love this blog post, and I just want to laugh and cry at how Bob just keeps, like, his life keeps getting worse and worse.
Just every single time he like digs deeper into the like rabbit hole of being a developer, he's just like, that is so cool. Yeah, that's exactly it. Spot on. Just digging himself into a hole. Like, okay, I'm still here. This is getting worse. Whereas Alice, she doesn't really need to do much, and everything is perfect. So yeah, and that's essentially how Gitpod works. And in terms of getting started with Gitpod, it's really, really quite straightforward. So I'm going to try and spin up. Actually, I have your this repo ready to go. I think it's a good example to start. Do you want to like tell us a bit about this like studio repo for us? Because I think you said there was like a bit of a like maybe story with it.
Well, I do want to share that basically it's still in beta phase. They're in the middle of adding all these cool things to it, and what we're trying to do is create this tool that makes it really nice to visualize all of your events in your architecture. So can you click on that link there, studio.asyncapi.com, like it's on the right in the description, and then you can kind of take a look at what it looks like. And this right now doesn't have any cool events showing yet, but let me oh my goodness, I should have brought a better picture for this one. Let me think. Give me one quick second. I know I can find something. I'm going to find something really good.
Oh, good.
So I ran by accident into these post that some folks from Spain made. So basically they were using this and they ran across, I'm going to give you the Twitter link, and I'm going to put it here in our StreamYard chat.
Yes, that's cool.
So I think we opened that one, and I think that one also links out to the actual, that's a quick screenshot where we see two folks from Spain playing with it.
Oh, nice.
And then I also want to show you the spot on their video. Oh, I almost turned on the sound for that. Here, let me send you the spot where they're basically, this is the spot in the video that screenshot captured. They're looking at how the event visualizer shows well, the events. And when they see it actually start working, they start saying in Spanish, "Pero qué maravilla," which means, "But how wonderful! We didn't know this existed." So like, I think we just need to wait in a second, and then we'll. Oh, there we go. And so this is what the tool is.
Oh wow.
So like, imagine instead of just having to like look at your YAML file and in your mind figure out what the hell you're doing, also having a nice little visualizer.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I'm a very visual person, so yeah, no, that's really cool.
Yeah, and I love their reaction. They're like, "What? Mind blown."
Mind blown. Yeah.
And I wish I could take credit for this tool, but I'm not the developer on this tool, so I can't take any credit. I would be lying. But I think that some of the main folks have been Jonas Laguni and Dave and Mashu from my team. So they saw this, and you can imagine when you're working hard and you see somebody enjoying your work, you're like, okay, thank God, I did something right. That was useful.
Yeah. I totally get that. Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, we're really excited because like we're really getting a lot of positive feedback about how it's really helping people, and there's still a lot of things and features that we still need to keep adding to the tool. And so I was thinking that, hey, what if we Gitpodified this tool's repo to make it easier for any random open source community member to contribute and just spin up, this one and contribute to the tool with Gitpod maybe. I think it's going to be a really popular tool that I hope we get a lot more people involved in contributing. So I was thinking like, oh, this could be a good one. Oh, right, because we already did, we haven't told you folks this yet, but see, the previous time, Pauline and I already Gitpodified the documentation of AsyncAPI repo. So the obvious one we already took care of. That Pauline already did that because she's on it.
I was just ready to showcase how cool Gitpod is to you, and I was like, I'm going to Gitpodify this repo. But I tried to look at the. Oh, we've got some comments. Yeah, it does look fantastic. Honestly, I think as someone who's quite a visual person, this is spot on. I want to play around with it a bit more, actually. It's so cool. So do you get quite a few like feature requests and contributions from the community? Like I just want to sort of understand sort of like that workflow. Do you have active contributors now?
Oh yeah, for sure. We have over 150 GitHub contributors across our different tools and the spec and the docs. And we have contributors that have already kind of like picked the project that they want to co-own. So we have also oh, sorry, I'm forgetting the word that I want to say, but we have public meetings every week. And so basically open source community joins the public meetings via Zoom. And if they have questions about, for example, how to contribute to a tool or something, or they have questions about how it works so that they can start adding to it, they can ask us there. So yeah, we have a lot of active contributors and we have a really big community. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, no, that is really cool. Yeah, I was keen to know, do you sort of with the people who contribute, do you find that they do get started straight away and like there's not that much friction? I'm sure you have amazing documentation. I'm sure you do.
Oh, no, that's a good question. So I would say that we're really good at mentoring and being available for people that want to contribute but need help. And it could be someone who's new to programming, but it's not just a beginner. It could also just be someone who maybe is trying to contribute to the tools and maybe we don't have enough good docs yet. And maybe, their questions help us notice that we're missing something, right? So we definitely get a variety. And what we do is that every repo, it's public because it's open source. And so anyone can create an issue or create a pull request and then just tag us to say, can I contribute this? And then, we go through the typical needed back and forth feedback. And then eventually, if it looks good to go, then we merge that community members' contribution to either the docs or studio or what have you. And if we go to every repo, it'll actually show us which contributors it has.
Amazing. No, it just sounds really, really good. I think, oh yeah, amazing. No, that's really cool. And our goal with this this repo then is to Gitpodify it. So maybe we can even have like a new section in this your README, like open in Gitpod, and people can just click the button and then it opens up in Gitpod. So we'll try and give this a go actually. So yeah, for those who don't know how to get started with Gitpod, there are two different ways. So the first one is to prefix your repo URL with gitpod.io/hash, or if you download the Chrome or Firefox extension, you'll get this really nice shiny Gitpod button, and you can just click on it and it opens up a Gitpod workspace for you. So yeah, let's start this. Let's Gitpodify this this repo. The first thing we'll do is I'll create a fork and go from there. Oh, it's always like nerve-wracking when you're like live and you're about to do some coding live, but we'll give this a go. So yeah, in this case, we'll just start the Gitpod workspace, and you see how easy that is. We're creating a oh, it's very fast today. Demo gods are with us.
It is really fast today. I'm surprised. Oh, I also sent you a link so that we can see what to add to the README.
Oh, amazing. Cool. Ooh, I like this. Cool. Oh, I like that. Yeah, we can add that as well. Oh, because this is from the website. Yeah, from your docs from earlier. Yeah, awesome. Cool. Oh, people didn't see that because that was in my other screen. So many screens, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, so the first thing we'll do then is, so let's just quickly head over to the README. So just to show people, so I just got started with like the open source community over maybe like the last few months, and I've been looking at open source projects to Gitpodify. And what I usually do when I want to start Gitpodifying a project is I go on the repo and I look for the README and I look at how they set it up and what they need. So in this case, you need Node.js, and to run it locally, you do an npm install and an npm start, and then that's it. So I'm like, okay, cool. What I'll do next is I need to create a gitpod.yaml file that creates the automation for this repo. So the easiest way to create a Gitpod YAML file is using our CLI gp gitpod init. And as you can see, that initializes a gitpod.yaml file, and you've created this this Gitpod YAML file, which has an init task and a command task, and you can do all sorts of different like configurations here. For now, we'll put this in it as, I think it was npm install. And then it says here in the comments, runs during pre-build. So, oh my gosh, I could talk about pre-builds for like another half hour, but I'll just quickly like run through what that means. And essentially, it's a way for you to have every time you open a new Gitpod workspace, you have all of your dependencies already installed before you start it. So startup times would be quicker, because instead of you waiting around trying to get all your dependencies to install when you start your workspace, it sort of does it all beforehand. So it should be quicker for you to just get started. I mean, like our motto is always ready to code. So we want to be always ready to code. And so like pre-builds is a really cool feature that we have to make sure that your startup times are really quick. And you can just get started straight away. So that's what the init task can do. And you can also add in a before task as well. I think, and then command, we'll put an npm run dev. It was run dev, wasn't it? No, it was start.
Oh, right.
Start. I always get confused between those two. And then yeah, you have your ports, and then in this case, this section of the Gitpod YAML file says, okay, we want to when we start the preview, what do you want, which port do you want it in? And we've specified 3000, and on open we want open in preview, so it'll show up on here. But we can also change this to browser, so once this starts, it will open the application in a new tab, so you can sort of look at it in like a full screen if you wanted to. But yeah, you have that option. And Mike has created some amazing documentation. So like if you want to read more about the CLI, then and how the Gitpod CLI works and stuff, you can have a look at that. So yeah, I think we're ready to. Oh, we're not ready. Can you tell me? Can you tell me why we're not ready? I haven't created a branch. That's why.
Oh! I thought you hadn't saved or something like that. But
no. I always forget to do this. I'm going to.
As long as you didn't commit it to master, you should still be okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, here's a follow-up question. Do you have like protection when someone tries to commit to the main branch?
Yes, you can't do it.
Yes. Okay, cool. Just checking because I could try. No, I don't want to.
Yeah, you can try, but I will say that the people that started this initiative are pretty smart, and I've tried
good
a couple of times and it hasn't worked so far.
Yeah, that's a good one. I always like forget that, like whenever I try to create a new project and then I sort of want other people to contribute, they just commit straight into like the main branch, and I'm like, oh, I should have really protected against that, but that's on me. So yeah, like essentially that's what we've created. We've created a gitpod.yaml file which does all the automation. So when we start a new workspace, it should just start everything. And I think this Gitpod YAML file also demonstrates how powerful Gitpod is. It's not just a IDE. So in this case, like visual, it's not just VS Code. It's everything you have. Obviously the IDE is very important. It's like front and center, but you also have these automation features as well, which I think makes it super powerful. So we'll do a Gitpod. I always forget it. And then we'll just do that. Okay, cool. And then if we just close this workspace, so this is another thing with ephemeral dev environments. I've got into this like habit of just like letting go of workspaces, and I don't even think about it anymore. I just like, once I'm done with something, like whether it's building a new feature or like reviewing someone's code, I just like totally just throw it away. I don't want to think about it. It's all done. And it's really good. Well, from my experience, it's been really fun doing it like that. So because I don't start like, I think there's like a saying in the infrastructure as code world, which is like, treat your infrastructure as, was it cattle, not pets, or something like that. And I think that was like a really good way to describe, how sometimes we get emotionally attached to like our dev environments or to the way we set something up, to the point that when we try and like move away from it, something breaks and it just gets all complicated. But with Gitpod, you literally just throw them. I think there's a saying that I feel like Gitpodders have used, throw away like paper towels. That's what people have said. We just throw workspaces away like paper towels. And yeah, that has been pretty cool. Okay, so let's just let me just triple check that that's worked before we start opening a pull request. So I've just switched branches to the branch I created with the .gitpod YAML file. And then if we just click on
I see some people complaining that it's too easy.
Oh,
you know what I mean? My day, people suffered. Your generation should suffer too.
Oh gosh, I've heard all sorts of things against this, but I think, I don't know. I have multiple opinions about it, but I think it is really good. It's definitely changed my life. I mean, and could you imagine being like, I'm sure you've probably got more experience than me in the open source world, but like whenever you want to contribute to open source, don't you feel intimidated by long installation like guides where you're like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I can't. Like, there's so much stuff to do, and you end up feeling overwhelmed that you like walk away from it. I know I've been in a position where I've looked at something like I want to contribute to it because it sounds cool, even just a good first issue. But the issue itself sounds easier than the installation process, so it doesn't really make any sense. Like, why would I sit here trying to like go through a long installation process when I don't know the issue seems easier to just to do? I don't know. Like, have you ever experienced that?
Yes, and I think that's definitely one of the main things that blocked me from wanting to contribute to open source earlier on.
Yeah, I think it is one of those things, and I don't know. Like, I'm glad that Gitpod exists, and that sort of solves that. I'm getting like the white screen of death right now, and I'm getting worried. I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, so what we saw there, I don't know, as we were talking, I don't know if you all saw it, but oh yeah, it worked. Awesome, it's working now. But what it did was in this terminal, it did an npm install, and then it did an npm start once the install finished. And then we just waited a few seconds there, and then now we've got this in a local environment. Yay! We Gitpodified it. Woo! Now I actually want to create a pull request, and I don't know. Shall I create the pull request, and do you want to try and open it on your Gitpod workspace to see it from your point of view?
Oh, I could do it too. Wait, did we add the docs yet to the README?
Oh, we have not. We have not. That is true. That is true. Thank you so much for reminding me. So if we add, I love how we're just going all in. We're like, yes, we love Gitpod. We are gonna add it into the README, and no, you can't do anything about it. We're just gonna do it.
I informed my team. They don't get a vote, and when they said open source, everyone gets a vote. I said, not this time.
No, I love that. Not this time. We're doing it live, and this is it. We're done. All right, like, so let me just. I'm just looking at the other repo, and just going to copy this. Develop. Oh, I just love it. I love how you've already sourced. I'm just copying it from the other one.
Yeah,
just
totally.
making sure.
And I was thinking we put it under the development one. Same here. So maybe
yes, yeah.
Subsection. Same as
yes.
the other.
Yeah, I think that's the correct section. Yeah, I think so. Oh wait, no. Oh no, that is correct, isn't it?
Yes. In the previous repo,
yes,
Gitpodified, I tried to put it in another section, and everyone thought, no, this really does go into development. So I basically just want to save us some back and forth on this new pull request because I already.
Oh, okay. Yeah, awesome. No, that's all right.
That's
all right. Yes, I know. Yeah. Oh, the only thing I would change here actually is let's just call it Gitpod, not Codespace. There's often a confusion actually when we talk about this like this where we are right now, this whole container. It's a Gitpod workspace, and that is quite a confusion, so don't worry about it. But yeah, I'll just remove that if that's okay. And on here as well.
Can you explain to me why is it wrong? Because I think I still don't get it.
Oh, okay. So it's sort of I think a few people have I've seen it around on on our community, like new people especially, they get confused. They're like, what is a Gitpod? What is Gitpod? What is Codespaces? What is Gitpod Codespaces and Workspaces? It's like really confusing. So Gitpod is what we're using right now. A Git and the developer environment. So again, IDE, automation, all the cool features, running sudo, Linux, the whole thing. Whereas a Gitpod workspace is this, your workspace, what you're working on right now. It's this thing. It's basically a container. And then on GitHub Codespaces is basically a similar product to Gitpod, but it's their own version of it. It's GitHub Codespaces. And so, yeah, those are sort of the distinguishing things. Does that make sense? Did I explain that correctly?
Yes, thank you so much. It definitely makes sense now. And now I
Okay,
know
cool.
that I need to set up a pull request and fix it in the other repo.
Well, there you go. Well, at least it's there now. So no, that's all right. That's all good. So yeah. So what we'll do now is, because if this link here, this prefix will open up your other one. So let's just make sure it's correct. I just want to make sure that it's the right link here. So we were talking, I think, whilst I'm just doing this, we were talking like before the stream, how sometimes we get like self-conscious that we're doing things slowly on streams because everyone's really fast when they're on streams. So it's really nice that you've definitely made me feel calmer with this stream. So thank you so much.
Oh no, thank you so much, and I appreciate your nice and gentle company as well.
Oh, thank you. We should do this more often. It's so much fun.
I know, but let's not get too emotional because we're still live.
Always forget. All right. So let me just triple check that this has gone through. Oh, I should have done update readme. So sorry. I always forget to write meaningful.
Oh, and you want to add a prefix to the pull request?
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, I'm not used to that, but I think someone shared it internally in our Slack channel. I don't remember what link it was, but it showed how it showed all the different prefixes. I'm not used to that. I don't know. Can you tell me what would it be?
Yes, for sure. Let's just do chore.
Sure. Okay.
Chore, colon, and then just make sure that you don't start the next word with caps, and you should be good.
Okay.
Cool. We also have a rule about not putting a capital letter right after the colon and the prefix.
Ah, okay. Oh, I'm learning. Okay.
It's actually from something called conventional commits, which is used a lot in open source. So basically, there's a different prefix depending on what your contribution is, and it helps keep things more organized and people to know right away from the prefix. Oh, this is a docs. This is a cleanup. This is a breaking change or what have you.
Yeah, I think that is something. Yeah, I need to learn a bit more about how to do that because I haven't. In all of the places I've worked at, apart from Gitpod, I actually have seen people do it on Gitpod, but I haven't, no one's ever done that before. So yeah, I learned that recently. So I want to sort of roll back my commit, and I'm trying to remember how to do that. Git log.
Oh, sorry. Why did you want to roll back your commit?
Oh, because I added add readme.md and I wanted to change the commit message.
Oh, got it. Sorry, I thought you were doing something related to the prefix, so clearly I lost track.
No, that's fine. And you know what? Sometimes I think I'm just in my head talking out loud, and I'm just like, wait, where am I?
I was like, what did happen?
What just happened? So I think, you know what? I'm going to roll back to this one. If I remember correctly, I'm really sometimes. Yeah, yay! I did it correct the first time. Woo!
Woo!
Okay, so readme, and then is it chore? Did you say chore?
Yep.
And then colon, and then just what we did. So
I would just say Gitpodify. Oh yeah, whatever you want. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Gitpodify sounds cooler. Let's do that. Chore Gitpodify.
If you did at Gitpod support your original idea, it's probably better. I don't know. Maybe they would know right away what it is. I don't know.
Oh, that's true. No, you're right. So I'll add Gitpod support. Cool. And then I'll go ahead and do that. And then I'll have to do a force, don't I? Yeah. Cool. That might have been really bad practice. I'm really sorry for those watching who's like, oh, I wouldn't have done it like that. But yeah, I think we've got everything. So we've got a Gitpod. You know what? Now I'm looking at the commit messages. I like the prefix and chore and stuff. I need to get into that. And then readme we've added.
Beautiful.
Yay! It's perfect. Do you want to try it on your side? So
Ooh.
I'll create a pull request. Actually, you know what? I should have really opened a Gitpod. I should have done the pull request in Gitpod because that is something you can do. So let me just open a new workspace quickly.
Yes, I love showing people, and you can also do a pull request here in itself, which is really cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. Like, I actually haven't done it often because I'm so used to like the GitHub PR interface. But yeah, it is definitely possible here. So yes, that looks good. And oh, do you have any rules for like PR descriptions
Ooh,
that I should add? That's a very good question. Yeah.
You're learning. Okay, sorry. So I don't think so. I think you can, and it should be fine if you just say that in order to add Gitpod support, that you only need to configure a YAML file and that you added the README update.
Yeah.
So I think adding both of those would be nice, so that the folks that work on the tool will know, what the heck it is.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, like I could even no, that's a good point because I always try and look for like contributing guidelines. Normally when you create a pull request, sometimes they come with a little like template. But yeah, no, that's really good. So I'll add something like this PR adds Gitpod support with a .gitpod.yaml file which automates the dev environment and updates the README MD. Cool.
So cool.
Awesome. So yeah, like as you can see, you can create a PR straight from Gitpod. And we didn't really go into like the ins and outs of Gitpod, but essentially this is VS. Oh, you can see it's popped up. Yay! It is VS Code. So essentially, if you have been coding on VS Code before, it should feel just like home. So let me just then create this PR. Yay. Awesome. And I think that worked. Oh, yes. Yes, it did. It shows up. Yay. Nice. Amazing. And now I might throw you the ball. And oh, I've just realized I completely forgot that we are live and we have been getting comments. So let me just quickly go through that. I'm the worst host ever. All good. There are actions out there that generate changelog based on conventional commits. Oh, cool.
Have it set up for AsyncAPI. So all of our GitHub actions are, I believe, in our .github repo.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I need to have a look into this. Someone shared it recently, and I remember thinking, okay, I need to read that because it does sound really cool. And oh, George, a fellow Gitpodder. Woo! I don't know if you've met George yet. He's wonderful. But yeah, git commit amend is also a good way to amend your commits. I have done it a very hacky way, I think. Sorry about that. Awesome. And yeah, so as you can see, you can start your PR, and I might throw the ball over to you then to share your screen and for you to see the PR from your end, and then maybe start a Gitpod workspace with the PR context. We'll talk through it as you go along, but do you want to give that a go? Let me just stop sharing.
Oh man. Oh, I can't hear you. It's breaking up. Just kidding.
Oh my god, I was quickly like checking my microphone's down here and I was like, did I mute it?
No, I'm just being evil and I'll stop. I'm being a coward, really. Okay, yes, I'm ready and I found your pull request. I have it.
Okay, amazing. Okay, do you want to share your screen and we can have a look at it together?
Alrighty, let me go ahead and do that. Sorry, one quick second.
It's okay. Don't worry. I'm just checking that I actually raised the pull request and it looks like it went through, so yes.
Yes, I see it here and it looks beautiful. I'm adding myself. Can you see me or yes? Can you see my screen?
Oh yes, sorry, I need to add it to the stream. There you go. Yes.
All right, cool. So I'm going ahead and adding my review. In this case, I already know that you did everything in the README the way they wanted, so I'm going to approve because I don't see anything to fix. I'm not going to merge it, of course, but I should be able to.
Yes, you should be able to actually. Yeah, you should be able to actually open up a Gitpod workspace from there. You can do it from there, but I was actually thinking, so your so go back to the like PR yeah, from there. So prefix your URL with https gitpod.io/hash. So the GitHub URL. So yeah, just prefix that.
Wait, do what now? This?
Yeah, so gitpod.io /hash. Copy that part. Yeah, copy that part, and then go back to the PR.
Okay.
And then prefix it, so paste it in front of yeah. There. Put yes, and then
correct.
Go. Yes.
This is too much magic for me. I don't know how.
Oh, and then you have to. Okay.
Connect.
So essentially, what this does, as you can see from the browser like tab, yes, it basically what you've done there is you're now in the context of my PR. So you should be able to see all of my changes. So you can see you've got your Gitpod YAML file, my Gitpod YAML file. You can see that I made the changes to the README, and you can see that the whole workspace is starting up now. It's currently doing a Git an npm install, and then eventually it will also do a npm start, and everything will just work. And this is just super helpful. So for instance, if I made a change to the most visual thing I can think of right now is like just a website, and I changed the text to pink, and you can see in the code that I just changed the color pink. But if you wanted to see it yourself, you can just open up a Gitpod workspace, and then then you would be able to see it in preview, and you can like sort of verify that it actually worked and everything's good basically. And yeah, and it clearly works and it's clearly there. So yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, amazing. So I think after this it should start, and then you should be able to just see you should be able to see Studio. Yeah. Should take yes, get in there
a little bit.
Yeah.
Open another one. Let's see.
Yeah, it should get there. Mine took a few.
Starting the development server. So
yes. All good. We're all good. But like, I wanted to like hear your thoughts. Like, do you think that I know you've sort of played with Gitpod a bit more. How do you think it's sort of like, what are your impressions of it, and like, with the PRs, with just using it in day to day?
Well, I will say that I thought it was very intuitive. As you said, if somebody has used the idea of Visual Studio Code, you probably are going to feel very right at home, which is what I did. I felt very much at home. And then everything has worked pretty well so far when I try it out. And it just feels so smooth. And then I really like how you said earlier, I can just close the tab and then I'm done with it. I also really like how I can just create a pull request directly from here. I like that I can have multiple pull requests or things going on because each tab is its own environment. And that's just kind of like mind-blowing. That's really cool. I just think that it's one of those things where it's a very useful tool to automate things. And I don't know that I use it as my main IDE, but I do like using it a lot for... Now I know that this will make things like my future workshops so much easier to handle. And so that's just like mind-blowing to me. I think that's the main thing as well. When I've done workshops in the past, always, sometimes you lose up to 20 to 30 minutes of your time just trying to get everyone's development environment ready to go. And it's just such a development pain, right? And then as Pauline said, it's so discouraging to people because it took them 30 minutes just to start the workshop, and now they're mentally drained and don't feel excited about the actual workshop. So like to me, I look at a tool like this Gitpod and I go, wow, imagine if we just use Gitpod now moving forward and I don't have to, cause mental agony to humans anymore in my workshops. So to me, those are the things that I'm excited about.
Yeah, and you're no longer Bob.
I'm no longer Bob. Nobody wants to be Bob.
I needed to add that. All right, well, let me just remove your like screen from the stream. But I was going to say I love how you mentioned workshops, because my colleague Jeff wrote a really wonderful blog post. I'll just put the link up here, called Workshops as Code, and essentially it's talking exactly what you just said. Like, you want to improve your the way you run workshops. Like, I don't run workshops as often as I would like to these days, but like years ago, I used to run coding courses with Code First Girls. And one of the main pain points was how everyone had different versions of Python on their computers. And it was like, some people had a Mac, some people had Windows, and like left and right, I was hearing, it doesn't work on my machine and I don't know why. And I would spend 2 hours of the session being like, okay, everyone, let's start again and let's try and get the dependencies right before we continue. And sometimes I'd lose a class, I'll like lose a session. And it was interesting, especially the first few, when that happened, the number of people that dropped off, they wouldn't return to the class because they thought that it was going to be painful every single time because of their developer environment. So yeah, like I think now that I know of Gitpod, I'm just advocating for it as much as I can, because it will continue to like change my workflow and others as well with workshops. So yeah, I love how you mentioned that. So yeah, like I think now we've created this PR and like you've like looked at it, and I'm sure someone else in your team could have a look at it and maybe add the Gitpod support there as well. But I've also noticed, and I honestly respect your time, so I think we'll just wrap up now, if that's okay. Time has flown, I have to say. I don't know if you feel that as well. I just feel like we just started 5 minutes ago. It's just flown by. But I just quickly wanted to actually answer some of the questions that you had from that you sent me, so that we sort of cover them. So I'll just quickly go through some of them. So one of the questions you and your team had asked is, what's the Gitpod workflow for Gitpodifying this repo? I mean, we saw it this whole stream, but you asked specifically, does the fork need to be done manually or on GitHub? And yes, it does. You need to fork on GitHub and then open the workspace from there. You can't do that from Gitpod. So hope that answered your question. And then also, do I need to update the GitHub forked repos each time I want to make a change as PR with Gitpod? No. So every time you open a Gitpod workspace, it does a clone for you. So everything is up to date anyway. So you literally don't have to think about that. Yeah, earlier in the stream where I talked about how I had this stressful situation earlier about these dependencies not working because I had to do a bit of sort of local dev. I was like, I needed to do a clone as well, a Git clone, and I spent 10 minutes here. I was like, what's the thing to clone things? Like, to clone a repo, because I forgot the command. I genuinely just haven't run Git clone in years. Not in years, in months. And I was just like, I don't remember the command. So yeah, no, I hope that answered the question for that. And then a really important one that I wanted to quickly touch on is what the difference is between Gitpod and GitHub code spaces. And I just want to say that, it's amazing that GitHub Code Spaces is launching, and everyone at Gitpod is super excited that they've joined the party. And we actually sent them cake like when they launched like a few months ago, and it's just beautiful. You know what? I feel like I need to share it. I need to share
it was so pretty.
Did you see it?
Yes, I saw it on Twitter, and it was the most beautiful cake that
Isn't it?
I was so jealous. I wish they had sent that cake to me. I really wanted that cake. I was like,
Yeah, me. Well, I was saying, everyone, it's my birthday, June. So, does anyone want to send me cake? Because that is really good cake. I just want to share it with everyone here on the stream who's watching us, just to give a bit of context. But yeah, we launched this. It's a beautiful, beautiful cake. Kudos to my colleague Jeff who set it all up. Oh, it's a whole story. I forgot like yeah, there it is.
oh, wow.
Woo! It's a beautiful cake. So yeah, I just want to say we are really excited that GitHub Codespaces and the team are like working on Codespaces. The main differences is that Codespaces runs on VMs, whereas we run on containers, which makes us a bit more efficient. And I think we also have actually, let me just load it up on here. We have a like full breakdown of the differences between Gitpod and GitHub Codespaces that's recently been updated, so you can read a bit more in depth of what the differences are. And also just want to plug that all the information is here. I just had a point and it's just left my brain.
Oh.
But yeah, that's essentially all that. But yeah, if anyone has any questions specifically about Codespaces and Gitpod, just feel free to reach out. And I hope that answered your question for you having a look. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's all we have. We don't have any more comments or questions from the folks who have like listened to us for the last hour, which we're very thankful for. So thank you very much for that. But yeah, like, do you want to like give us a bit of like an outro of where people can find you and how maybe to contribute to AsyncAPI?
Oh yes, for sure. So you can definitely find me on Twitter. Maybe you could share my handle, perhaps.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Okay. I'm on Twitter, and then my GitHub handle is actually right there on Twitter as well. So if you want to send me a DM with any questions about contributing to AsyncAPI, or just about wanting to actually learn more about the initiative, because we didn't actually cover too much of that today, my DMs there are open. Anything you need. And really, I'm just excited and hoping to hear some of you folks reach out to us and maybe join our Slack channel if you want. And if you want to get contributing, and I would really just go and join our Slack channel, join channel 11, which is how to contribute, and introduce yourself in channel 1 if you want to, and just send me any questions you got. Thank you for having me, Pauline.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm just getting all the links here so that people can check everything out, your Twitter, your GitHub, AsyncAPI. I have to say that since getting my PR approved by your wonderful team, I have been like snooping around the AsyncAPI repos to see what else I can like contribute to, not just Gitpodifying, but just contributing in general. So yeah, thank you for making that such a like wonderful and welcoming place. But yeah, so from me, just wanted to plug, thank you so much for like listening and watching, and just for having both of us and listening to us talk about how you can improve your open source contributions with Gitpod. But if you do want to talk to Gitpodders and the whole Gitpod community, we do have an active community over on Discord. So if you have any questions at all on how to use Gitpod, then feel free to reach out to us there. I'm just trying to get the thing to show up. There it is. Feel free to check us out, and feel free to join our future live stream, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you all later. Thanks all.